12. Supply chain integration. Supply chain integration is the effective coordination of supply chain processes through the seamless flow of information up and down the supply chain. Supply chain integration provides each member of the supply chain visibility into the capacity and information of other members of the supply chain. Supply chain integration facilitates collaboration between firms in a supply chain. It also an enabler of supply chain management. Supply chain integration can be viewed by using a simple example. In this example, a ketchup factory is called a central firm. A ketchup factory uses material and resources from multiple suppliers. Suppliers can be divided into many tiers. For example, in this picture, the ketchup factory gets its major supply from tomato paste factories, which for the ketchup factory we call supplier tier 1 or tier 1 supplier. In turn, the tomato paste factories get their supply from the tomato grading stations, which we call supplier tier 2 or tier 2 supplier. Finally, the tomato growers ships their product directly to the tomato grading station. And in this picture, we call all supplier upstream supply chain. Based on the central firm perspective, the downstream supply chain includes all companies related to end product, which may include retail sales and customer. In this picture also show multiple links that happen in the supply chain to create supply chain integration. For example, information flows can be linked information from all suppliers to the central firm and to the downstream members. Information can flow both upstream and downstream, provide visibility to supply chain members regarding supply capacity and plan. On the other hand, cash flow link can only flow upstream and is affected by pricing, promotional program, and supply contracts. Therefore, understanding the implication of materials, information, and cash flow in the supply chain is important for all employees in organization. Supply chain dynamics. Supply chain dynamics explain how each supply chain member can affect other supply chain members in the supply chain. Each firm in the supply chain depends on other firms for services, materials, and also the information needed to supply its immediate external customer in the supply chain. Because firms are typically owned and managed independently, the actions of the downstream supply chain member can affect the operations of the upstream member. Based on this picture, you can see that the actions of the customer daily demand can affect the action of the retailer's daily orders to manufacturers, and then affects other members as they move upstream. The effect can be fluctuated and create a ripple effect throughout the supply chain. Okay, and this dynamic supply chain effect we call a bullwhip effect. The bullwhip effect gets its name from the action of the bullwhip, which means the handles of the whip initiates the action. However, the tip of the whip experiences the widest action. The slightest change in customer demands can ripple to the entire chain, with each member receiving more variability in the demands from the member immediately downstream. A firm contributes to the bullwhip effect if the variability of the orders to its suppliers exceeds the variability of the orders from its immediate customer. In this picture, the variability in the orders increases as you go upstream in the supply chain, because the supply pattern do not match demand patterns. Inventories accumulate in some firms and shortages occurs in others. The firm with too much inventory stop ordering. Those that have shortages place expedited order. The culprits are expected changes in demand or supplies that are based on the number of causes. There are many causes that create or lead to bullwhip effect. The first cause is an external cause. There are many external causes. For example, can be volume changes. When customer change the volume, customer may change the quantity of service or product they had ordered for a specific date, or unexpectedly demand more of a standard service or product. If the market demands short lead time, the firm needs a quick react from its supplier. External causes may include also a service or product mix changes when the customer change the option they choose in order to buy product. Late delivery can be also a cause of bullwhip effect. Underfilled shipment, meaning that the shipment that are under 100% lot size, can also be a cause of bullwhip effect. The bullwhip effect can also be caused by internal causes, which may include shortages, engineering changes, order batching, new product and service introduction, service or product promotion, and also information error. Bullwhip effect is an important which lead to an error in the supply chain. It increased inventory. It also creates shortages. These are an ingredient of a disaster. In order to help smoothing this bullwhip effect, organization must involve into integrated supply chain. Organization must participate in high degree of functional and organizational integration to minimize disruption in the operation and processes. The integration must include linkages between the firms and between the firm and its supplier, and also include the customer. Create trust between members, and also communicate transparently between members. This picture shows an integrated supply chain. Within this integrated supply chain, this picture represents one simple transaction between first tier supplier or supplier tier 1 with the central firm. As you can see from this picture that the central firm may include 4 main processes inside, which is also mentioned in chapter 1. The main processes or core processes may include product development process, customer relationship process, supplier relationship process, and order fulfillment process. Supplier tier 1 or first tier supplier also includes 4 core processes inside. These internal processes must interact with each other to communicate. And also there are external links between these 2 firms. So the core processes should also connect with each other beyond the internal firm boundary. The organization also needs support process to make sure that the 4 core processes communicate effectively or seamlessly. The key main core processes may include the first, new product development process, which follow the product life cycle, which start from design and move on to analysis, development, and full launch of the product. Supplier relationship process is the process dealing with supplier. In the supplier relationship process, provide main activities to make sure that organization work well with supplier. The main activities may include design collaboration to make sure that there is early supplier involvement, pre-sourcing, and value analysis. This supplier relationship process may also include some activities such as negotiation between supplier in terms of pricing, and also appraisal evaluation, supplier evaluation. This supplier relationship process also includes buying activity, which may be regular or traditional buying like procurement, or also buying through technology called e-purchasing. Most of companies nowadays choose to manage supplier using some type of technology such as RFID tag, which is a small barcode tag that use radio wave frequency in order to track inventory between supplier and the buyer. Vendor manage inventory, also another program that suppliers and buyers can use to connect with each other. Nowadays, it is very famous to talk about the impact of organization to the environment. Green purchasing is the process of identifying, assessing, managing the flow of environmental waste, and finding ways to reduce it and minimize its impact on environment. There are some recommendations that organizations should follow in order to be green purchasing, such as choose environmentally conscious supplier, use and substantiate claims such as clean, biodegradable, natural, and recycle. Use sustainability as criteria for certification, such as ISO 14000. Order fulfillment process. Order fulfillment process is a process that helps organization manage the order services. This order fulfillment process is used to communicate between customer and the manufacturing and services. The information that used to communicate may include customer demand, supply planning, production, and logistic information. Customer relationship process is a process that organization use to communicate with customer. Customer relationship process, or CRM, it is a program that we can use to identify, attract, and build relationship with customer. Nowadays, customer relationship process may have many types of system. For example, electronic commerce can be used to allow customer to buy product from the seller through the internet or technology. Business to customer, or B2C, is a technology allow businesses to connect with customer, with consumer. B2B, or business to business, on the other hand, is a technology used for industrial businesses to communicate with each other when they create transaction. Customer relationship management program, or CRM, can also be used for order placement to communicate on price, cost reduction, and also can be used to provide customer service, which helps customer with answer to question, resolving problem, provide general information. And that's the end of chapter 12. And chapter 12 is the last chapter of this course. The final may include let me get back to chapter 9, supply chain inventory management, chapter 14, forecasting, chapter 10, supply chain design, and chapter 12, supply chain integration. And thank you very much for taking my class, and good luck for the final.